For Pride Month, I get to shoot a straight person.
In the face?
Anywhere I want.
Okay.
That's the new rule.
With what kind of?
It's Mamdani's New York. And gay people are allowed to shoot straight people for Pride weekend. It's the new rule.
All right. Well, I guess I'll stay home because I'm at risk, apparently.
My mayor's Muslim.
What is
my bagels are Jewish.
My mayor is Muslim. My bagels are Jewish.
I can shoot a straight person. It's Pride Month. Welcome to Brief Recess. I'm Michael Foote.
I'm Mélissa Malebranche.
Today we're going to talk about white people need the password to the seasoning cabinet. Just dumb. Haiti's World Cup moment that made Melissa cry. We're going to ask if Candace Owens might be making a point every now and then. We're going to talk about the reflecting pool drama, World Cup tourists discovering American junk food, the Luigi Mangione trial, and all the twists and turns and recent updates, which changed in the middle of my sentence.
I know, right?
And we're going to answer all your questions from the DMs and also talk a lot about inner monologues.
And food. Didn't we have a long talk about food earlier?
No, I think you're just hungry. Got your Horcrux on.
I do have my Horcrux on.
Is that a gem? No, it's a Horcrux. What's your birthstone? Horcrux. Happy Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah.
It just passed.
How was your first... Michael got invited to baby's first Juneteenth. He got invited by a black person. That's not me. So he's got another black friend.
There's another black friend.
There's another one.
A second black friend has entered the chat. Mm-hmm. And I will say,
Michael, you were invited to the cookout.
We are, okay, so white people at home. I'm gonna look at cameras 1, 2, and 3. We're not seasoning our food, guys. We haven't even begun to open the seasoning cabinet.
Okay, well,
because I knew we weren't seasoning our food that well.
Okay.
And I think of myself as a pretty good cook.
You're a good baker.
Thank you. Thank you for the correction.
No, you're good. No. What? I'm sorry. That sounds fucked up. I actually didn't mean it like that. I have never had food from you.
Sure.
I have had baked goods.
I will say.
So I feel like if you are a good baker, you could probably be a good cook.
White people were not even scratching the surface with the seasonings.
I know that.
And and it's not, I know it's really preaching to the choir here, but seriously.
I remember one time you told me.
I was reading you a Martha Stewart recipe.
And I was like, what is that?
She was like,
the fuck?
I was like, listen to this. And it had, I think, one ingredient in the seasonings. No, it was pepper.
I remember once you were talking about how you were going to make Thanksgiving a turkey.
Yes.
And I was like, what are you going to put in the turkey? And I heard a lot of salt and pepper, and I immediately shut down. And I was like, and I'm going to say this, and I know people are going to come at me, and I'm telling you right now, I don't care. I am not going to take recipe recommendations from people who don't wash their chicken.
I wash my chicken.
Do you?
But because you told me to.
Oh.
And it's because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And now that I know, I'm like, I need to wash this chicken immediately. And I know that this is a lot of people say you don't need to, but I do now, and I notice a difference.
And let me tell you, you may not need to wash your chicken. I need to wash my chicken.
Yeah, it's like... And now I feel like if I'm making chicken and I don't wash it, it's like you don't wash your hands. It's like you haven't washed your hands before cooking. And that may work for you. It doesn't work for me. Not anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's something I simply cannot abide.
So, what did you eat to make you feel like you don't season your food? I love this so much, by the way. This is so it's like vindication.
Macaroni salad. Macaroni doesn't have to be the main ingredient, is something I learned. Like the dressing and all the other things that go in, it can be equal parts.
Okay.
So growing up, macaroni salad for me
was what?
Was almost dry. there was so little seasoning dressing on it. And listen, and the other thing is that I love all these foods and I will start cooking them for myself and I will start seasoning my things more.
Okay.
But I can't show up to Thanksgiving with a Chipotle flavored turkey because my people will riot. my people won't abide.
I'm going to make you some green seasoning.
You're doing this like it's a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this for you.
Doing this like it's my last day.
Because you're my favorite blanc. Michael is my favorite blanc. And I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to make you some green seasoning.
Can I ask a really stupid question?
What's in the green seasoning?
What's green seasoning for all the white people at home?
So I know Haitian people have green seasoning. Dominicans have green seasoning. They also have like a red one. Jamaicans do.
Yeah.
It goes in almost everything, right?
Okay.
So depending on where you are from, it's green because there is parsley.
Okay.
There's green pepper.
It's dry.
No, it is not
it's
dry.
Like wet?
It's wet.
That's the other thing is most seasonings aren't dry, you guys. Another thing I learned.
Just sprinkling onion powder on
Yeah,
shit.
like it doesn't always have to be a dry seasoning.
I know.
It's amazing the things you learn.
So far.
I really have.
I'm really so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's like you and Amari. Amari's
your
trying
nephew,
to walk. Yeah.
Your nephew took the subway for the first time.
They're not going to let me show the picture, but my nephew he's a year old and he took the subway for the first time. And I don't know if you saw, there's this woman, I want to say she's Lebanese, and it was her daughter lives in New York, and her mother had never been on the subway before. And her mother is this beautiful, elegant.
I saw this video.
Did you see this?
Yes.
And she got on the train and she was horrified.
She was so upset.
Amari looks just like that lady. But I
don't touch anything.
She was like, and she was like holding on to her husband or this man that she was with, death grip. Amari was looking around like,
I don't think so, honey.
This is some bullshit.
This doesn't work for me.
Not at all. So anyway.
You can make his face pretty well.
You know what? Can I tell you what's really funny? It's like I don't listen to our show. I watch our show on YouTube, right? So I make the same faces all the time. Like it's really interesting because you don't see your face when you're talking to somebody, but when you're watching it, you see it. And then there are pictures of me as a young child. I've been making that face for a long time.
Yeah. And
it's so funny.
Is it a nature versus nurture? I don't know. The sassy little faces we make. Let's get into a sidebar. Sassy little faces with Magali and Melissa.
Faces with Magali. Yeah, my mom makes sassy little faces. My mom used to be a teacher, and her colleague would say they always knew when Mrs. Malebranche did not like something, because my mother would just be like in a meeting being like, that's stupid.
I love when people do that, though. I had a client making faces in court like that, and I had to be like, you better stop.
Do you remember this? A million years ago, Michael Jackson went on trial and E did a reenactment.
No, I didn't know this.
I could have sworn I sent it to you, but E did this reenactment where there was an actor playing Michael Jackson.
What? This sounds like some crazy 90s shit. Or early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s E was out of pocket. They were so out of pocket.
At one point, the anchors on E were sitting on these giant lucite E's.
Excuse me?
And they had fish inside. It was like a fish tank.
CJ, get PETA on the phone.
I don't know that they were real fish, to be fair. To be fair, I actually don't think that they were.
There was this drag queen who used to have boobies that were fish bowls, and there were live goldfish inside.
How did she attach them to her chest?
I don't know, but PETA came for her, and she's not in business anymore.
Wow, they ran her out of town.
And the 90s were wild in New York.
Yeah.
It really, Hell's Kitchen was hell. It was hell.
Hellacious.
It was hellacious.
But yeah, so the Michael Jackson thing where
what was his face?
So people were accusing him of these terrible things, and he was just like, and it was like, so you're trying to tell me that the actual Michael Jackson was doing that in court?
Because no way. CJ's got the photo up,
absolutely.
Guys.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's
he was
the
like,
actor.
That's the actor. come on, Michael.
I mean, the face changed a lot.
It did, but
and that is a pixelated photo.
But it's also
that's definitely not him. But that's a pretty good looking actor. I mean, it looks pretty close. I wonder who the
actor is.
Yeah, I want to know what were the other credits.
I don't know. But
what else was this actor in Fried Green Tomatoes? Like, what else was this actor doing?
Green Mile? I don't know. But yeah, this guy was eye rolling.
Making little
crazy.
I love Michael Jackson clips because he really didn't give a shit at a certain point, or maybe the whole time, because the one clip of him saying, I hate touring. I go through hell on tour.
Oh, I know. I love that, actually.
And then they're like, could you just do a positive?
And he was just like, I love it.
I love to tour.
I know.
It's so good. It is something CJ would say to us. Is like, hey, can you not be so negative?
Remember the other day we were talking about, like, when do you cry, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I cried this weekend, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So Haiti played Brazil this weekend. And just really quickly, Haitian people, when they're not rooting for themselves, they're rooting for Brazil. Like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I know. A lot of people don't know that. But Haitian people love to root for Brazil. So there was almost like this thing, like, are the Haitian folks going to like vote? Are they going to root for themselves? They're going to root for Brazil. Obviously, they're rooting for Haiti. But I was watching when they unfurled that giant Haitian flag and the Haitian national anthem came on. And I had been practicing, so I stood up in my home and I sang my little song. Yes! And it was this very emotional reaction that I had for a couple of reasons. Again, like I've said a million times, Haiti really needed this to be on the world stage. I mean, I think there's something like 112 countries that are eligible to be in the World Cup, maybe more, and like 46 get in.
Wow.
So that's not that many.
Yeah.
And Haiti was the only country from the Caribbean. And this is all coming from a country that has had a really, really difficult time. So there was this huge... Especially
recently.
Yes.
The past couple of years have been tough.
And we haven't been there in over 50 years. And just to see it I was so full of pride. And again, thinking about my dad, and how he would have absolutely lost his shit. So I shed a tear or two.
You were at home?
Yeah, I was at home.
Because when I was talking to you on
I was going to
Friday,
go to a watch party, yeah.
And you didn't go?
We didn't go.
Andre was all dressed up. Pull up the photo.
I will pull up a photo. Andre was I got him to wear a headband. Yeah, we decided not to go. We went to a Juneteenth party, and then I was like, half drunk.
Yeah. I was at a bar in Brooklyn. I got kind of lost on the way to a gay bar and ended up in a sports bar playing pool with this guy named Tulio. Just met him.
Okay.
He was great. Absolutely smoked me in a game of pool.
I was going to say, do you play pool?
But the game was on.
Yeah.
And so I was able to sort of...
Mm-hmm. I mean, we got trounced.
Oh, did you?
Slaughtered.
Oh, no.
But...
Yeah.
Honestly, it's okay. Brazil is, if you don't know, Brazil is a country that they sort of eat, breathe, drink.
Yes. Yeah.
Football from the
They're
from
playing
the crib.
It everywhere in Brazil.
So it is, it sucks that we lost so badly. but we made it to the World Cup, which is a really big deal.
We can get into your algorithm is showing and we can talk about this.
That's something weird on my algorithm, actually.
What?
Oh, are we doing it now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
It's Pride Month. Get into algorithm.
Speaking of Pride Month, right?
Yeah.
So
for Pride Month, I get to shoot a straight person.
Pride Month. Where, in the face?
Anywhere I want.
Okay.
That's the new rule.
What kind of?
It's Mamdani's New York. And gay people are allowed to shoot straight people for Pride weekend. It's the new rule.
All right. Well, I guess I'll stay home because I'm at risk, apparently.
What is this? My mayor's Muslim.
What is
my bagels are Jewish.
My mayor is Muslim. My bagels are Jewish.
And I can shoot a straight person. It's Pride Month.
So there was this doctor. I hope I can find it again. There is a doctor who was performing a foot shortening surgery on a trans person, on a trans woman. But I have so many questions about this.
Foot shortening in general.
Right.
Trans aside.
Oh, trans doesn't matter. That's not it. But like the idea and what the doctor said was that she wanted to be able to wear more fashionable shoes. I get it. No, I get it 100%. But I feel like, and somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, the size of your feet, doesn't it also sort of support your
balance, body? Yeah.
Right? So this person, because they had pretty big feet, right?
Okay.
So this person is probably a tall,
really tall,
broad person. And now they've shortened their feet and their toes, but they haven't narrowed the foot.
Is this I've never heard of this procedure. This makes me nervous.
I had never heard of it either, but just because we never heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? But I had also never seen it. And I was so like curious / worried. Like I am legitimately worried that now let's say it was you, for example.
Yeah. Am I going to be toppling over?
Right.
Because I'm 6'4" and I've got smaller feet now.
Right.
They're size 13 for a reason.
To support the rest of you.
Yeah, when I broke my feet, Melissa, don't laugh. Yes, I broke both my feet during the pandemic, and my last name is Foote.
Right. But it was not just that. It was you broke one. And I was like, oh no, are you okay? And then he promptly broke the other one. And I was
all her pity was used up on the first.
Like, Mikey Feet broke his feet.
And we were like double masking, meeting up for outdoor coffee. Like it was like the craziest time of their lives.
I was just like, how did you break one foot and then immediately break the other one?
It's like, how did Alyssa get 3 concussions in a year? I don't know.
These are things, again, it's like the drugs. These are things that don't happen to me.
But also it's like you hang out with stupid people, you get stupid. Like, what does it say about you that you're hanging out with me with 2 broke feet and Alyssa can't see straight? What does that fucking say about you, girl? Like that.
I'm out here trying to mother you guys, trying to lead you the right way.
About you.
That I'm helpful.
You gotta make me green seasoning.
I gotta make you green seasoning. I gotta save your eye.
My chicken. Oh my God.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I'm actually really curious about this, and I don't know what the surgery is called.
Right.
But it made me.
I worry about everyone on the internet. It's not about the trans of it all. It's about like, you're worried about this person falling over in front of the subway.
Yeah, but I also thought there was this woman who wanted blue eyes and she got surgery for blue eyes.
Those eyes.
And they don't look right. They don't look.
They're looking like Erika Kirk out here. She's looking like laser beams. Like,
it doesn't look right. And I'm wondering, what is the impact on your vision at some point anyway?
CJ, I'm sorry. We're just going to skip this whole page because we have to talk about Erika Kirk.
What about her?
Candace Owens' foot is on Erika Kirk's neck. Are you seeing these videos? They're all over my feed. She's like, why is Erika Kirk doing a bridal shoot before the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Here's Erika before the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She's taking bridal shots or something. That part was weird. No, nobody's talking about that enough. That was weird.
Well, it's just she spit out her water. It's like her in a veil behind a curtain. Like, it's the weirdest thing.
Has she been promised to someone?
She's like in a curtain. It's like so weird. And Candace Owens is like, am I going crazy here? And I'm obviously not going to agree with her.
And that's the thing, right? I really hate it when somebody like Candace Owens is making me be like, yeah, she's got a point. Like
Omarosa, where like, she's got a few good points.
Right? Like, it's like that time that Tucker Carlson, I was like, where am I in life that Tucker Carlson is making sense to me? What the fuck is going on?
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, that's true.
But sometimes Candace Owens, she's kind of got a point sometimes. And this is one of those moments.
Where are we in life that this is what's happening?
What's wrong with my algorithm where it's like ultra progressive liberal video of Candace Owens dunking on Erika Kirk?
I just, you know what I think though? I just think it just goes to show you how completely off the rails this administration has become. Has become, even to the people who were their staunch supporters, that they're just like, yeah, you're out here paying $16 million to fix your fucking pool.
The reflection pool. I think, I have a theory. The reflection pool is like the perfect example of like American corporate dysfunction, Like,
continue.
Organizations with leaders just like doing things that waste a bunch of money that had they just done nothing, it would have been more profitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the perfect example of like the AI argument in all of these companies that are like, let's try this AI thing. We're going to invest $50 million into it. And then it ends up losing $100 million.
Right.
And it's like, if you did nothing,
right,
you would have made.
Right. Or like just sort of like slowly, like it's, I think the problem is also like the rush, right?
Yes.
Everyone's trying to be first. Everyone's trying to be fastest. But
Everyone's
fastest is not... In many in many instances, faster is not always better, folks. That's all.
That's Melissa's Pride Month logo. Put that on her mug.
I'm just saying.
It's the race to the bottom of the reflection pool. I think that.
Oh, I hate where we are. Where are we in the timeline of life?
Why did we do the reflection pool in the first place? I actually forget. Why is it there? What is happening?
No, it's always been there.
It's always been there.
Yeah.
But what did he do to it? He dyed it blue? What was the shot heard around the world?
Why did he? That's a really good question.
Yeah.
So Obama installed these filters in 2012 because it started to grow algae, and he was like, basically like, I want to rip out what Obama did and do my own thing. So he originally was going to rip out those filters, paint it blue, and like put this new lining down.
It's like when they dyed the river for St. Patrick's Day green in Chicago.
Did you see how, totally random thing. Did you see how the Scots have drunk all the beer?
Boston.
Sam Adams Brewery ran out of beer.
Yes. Yeah.
The British love that. I love that so much. And it just feels like the folks from Scotland are having the best time. I saw them dancing with a bunch of Haitians. It was great.
I saw a guy crying because he was on his way to the airport to leave to go back to Scotland, and he had the taxi driver turn around and take him back to Boston.
Yeah.
After they gave me back to Boston, got in a cab, went to the airport to go home, and I thought, I'm not going home. I'm staying.
Like in a rom-com.
And they've discovered ranch dressing.
Yes. I absolutely love ranch.
I don't.
You don't?
I do not care for ranch.
The little fat kid inside me that was denied ranch growing up.
I just don't like that.
Yeah.
I've tried to like
You don't like, is it the dill?
No, I
like dill.
I also
Jinx.
Buy me a Coke. I think that I don't like ranch. I also don't like Green Goddess.
Really? Oh, I guess Green Goddess is just like greener ranch. Green Goddess is like ranch for Gwyneth Paltrow. You know what I mean? Like it's for like the Goop set, right?
Maybe.
It's like what white girls who do yoga and Pilates give themselves when they want ranch.
Green Goddess?
Yes.
Why? Is it lower calorie than?
They tell themselves it is, but it isn't. It's green ranch.
So they're lying to themselves?
It's like when we dye the river in Chicago for St. Patrick's Day. It's the same thing.
What? What's wrong with you?
It's just ranch dyed green.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So. I think they taste different, and I don't like either one. I think, you know what it is? It's the mayonnaise.
You don't like any mayonnaise?
I don't. No, I do like some mayonnaise. It's weird, but I think there's too much mayonnaise in it. Like it's mostly mayonnaise.
What I like to do, so I get like a ranch from my like farm share, and it's like really good homemade ranch. I do that, but then I do a little vinaigrette, olive oil, and water in my salad. To
thin it out?
In just like the salad, I always put a little bit of warm water in my salad.
Because?
It just, I don't like an icy cold salad.
Okay. I can see
burning my teeth.
Sure.
I hate that. Yep. I like a room temperature salad. Okay. And oftentimes the lettuce is in the fridge, so I want to like warm it up a little bit with a little warm water. Mm-hmm. So I'll throw that in. Mm-hmm. And then I dress it, and then I sort of thin out the ranch with either a vinaigrette or an olive oil or a little extra water or something, just to kind of like loosen it. Because otherwise it's like clumps of dressing.
Maybe that's what I don't like.
I want it to be...
I also don't like blue cheese dressing.
Yeah, I want it to be like a more water consistency. Blue cheese, you don't like? So maybe I'm just like a big bag because I love all those creamy dressings. Thousand Island.
I like Thousand Island.
I love it. Like,
I love Russian.
A Long Island salad bar from the 90s. That's what I want.
Like a sizzler with like the bacon bits.
Yes, that's the salad I want. Give me that wedge, that iceberg wedge.
Yeah, I know, the iceberg wedge. Well, also I guess if you don't open it, it doesn't need to be refrigerated. See, anything like that, anything that's too
shelf-stable dairy makes me a little nervous.
I don't love things that are too like shelf stable, like Twinkies. Like that's just too much.
There's this one video of a woman. She's like, this guy's like from Ireland and he needs one dessert.
Is it the black guy? And he's Irish and there's another black woman. She was like, oh my God, they've got us out there too. Did you see this? And she's helping him with the snacks. And she's like a top tier snack person.
She was like giving me ideas.
I know. Wow. There was something that she said. I was just like, I'm going to try that. What the hell was it?
Was it the honey buns with butter?
Yeah, maybe.
And then the woman doesn't. Okay, so for people who have no idea what we're talking about.
And then this older white woman in a muumuu comes by and throws another suggestion out. She was fucking great.
Guys, just so you understand what the hell we're talking about, for the World Cup, there are people from all around the world in America right now, and they're being exposed to the unregulated, high processed foods in America.
All the red dye.
And so all over TikTok and Instagram, there are videos of people trying to find the best snacks in America. Yep. And this black man from Ireland found a black woman, presumptively in the American South.
I don't know.
It was Texas. Yeah.
Okay.
And she was giving him advice on like honey buns and Hostess snacks and cookies.
Right.
And it was just all these things this lovely Irishman had never seen before. Yeah, the chess cookies with banana pudding.
Banana pudding.
And the chess
I also
cookies.
Don't like banana pudding.
Yeah, you don't like banana pudding. You don't like bananas. Okay.
But the best was the other part of that was like the old lady who was walking by and like threw out a suggestion like someone's meme.
Pop-Tarts with no frosting.
And fry them in butter is what she said.
And then I went to the comments. You know what someone said?
What?
That's my mother-in-law. Literally, they were like, oh my God.
But I just wonder, where are you? Like, what's going on in your life that you're just like, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to fry a Pop-Tart.
Well, I want to know is what's going on in these countries. Do they not have incredible snacks?
They have different snacks.
Based off these videos, they make it seem like the UK is like what you see on Game of Thrones.
No.
Like that's the culinary experience is the feast in...
I will say the best food that I had in the UK was not British food. It was like Indian food and Thai food.
Indian food in the UK is
so
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, British food is... I think even British people would agree with us that it's bad. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not terrific.
If you have to describe the side dish as mushy,
mushy
I'm out of
peas.
here. I'm out of here. I'm self-deporting.
I've never had mushy peas, and I wonder.
No.
Could it be good?
No, because they're just overcooked.
Is it just the peas and no seasoning? Well, we did talk about how you people have no seasoning.
You people.
I wonder if the mushy peas, I'm going to look for a recipe of mushy peas and see if there's seasoning in the mushy peas. Or is it just butter?
I think it's butter and probably salt.
Okay. Well,
no pepper.
No pepper.
Probably not.
There are these two British guys.
This is just the food schmooze.
Wait. There are these two British guys that they go around the United States eating things, and they're always like, I forget what they're called. I think the thing is called Jolly, whatever. And they also take American food back to like these British boys in school. And they're so cute, right? These like sort of high school-ish type boys. And they're wearing like their suits and they're just like, and there was one kid who was eating something and he got all red in the face and he was just like, there's a lot of pepper in them. And he was just like, I can't with the pepper.
Like old gingery kid watering up.
Just watering eyes. And he was just like, there's a lot of pepper in this.
So
they're so cute. And they're just like, cute. Oh, that's like, they're eating like barbecue. And they're like, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Little kids with British accents are very cute.
I mean, they're cute, but these kids are not little. They're like 17 years old.
Oh.
They're like, but they are adorable.
That's very funny.
No, but they're adorable in the way they're just like, wow, I've never had like Popeye's fried chicken.
When I was in the UK, I was there for school and I went to the dining hall and they had toast, but the bread, they just put it in the deep fryer. That was the buttered toast that they were serving.
It was
fried bread. And I had never had that before.
Was it good?
It was really good.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's fried.
It had like the consistency of a churro, but was salty. Where I was like, oh, this is chewy. This is like
Did they
dissolving.
have it with beans? Did it have beans on it?
No, it was like a side dish at breakfast.
A side dish.
Like you got your eggs and your like bacon and your maybe there were beans, but it was like
there had to have been beans
rather than just the toast you would get. It was deep fried bread.
We're going to Ireland, and I am really looking forward to having like an Irish breakfast.
Yeah,
with like blood pudding.
Blood pudding's good. I like blood pudding.
I can't remember. I don't think I like blood pudding.
It's got like a crust to it.
That's not
in retrospect. Was blood.
Right. And they fried it till it's crispy.
Yeah. This is supposed to be a legal podcast. I'm really sorry.
Sorry. Guys. I know. We've completely gone off the rails.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. Let's talk about Luigi Mangione.
Okay.
Because they updated his defense. And I feel like I owe it to the Zillennials that follow me.
Sure.
Okay. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Under Oath. We're going to be talking deep dive into a hot topic plaguing the newsfeed right now, which is Luigi Mangione.
Friends, what do I always say?
Wrong segment.
Well, fuck me. Okay. You looked at me and I was like, okay, I'm going to...
Wrong segment.
Okay. We're moving on. Luigi.
Okay, Luigi Mangione.
Mm-hmm.
What did he allegedly do?
He allegedly murdered the CEO of United Healthcare.
Yeah. And so they were charging him with murder and in the first degree and second degree. And now his defense team is saying that he was suffering from extreme emotional disturbance.
Because? Do they say
they didn't really say why, I don't think. Did they, CJ?
No.
I mean,
and I'm just asking if they did say, because I wonder if not saying right now is a part of the strategy.
Well, I remember that like he disappeared for a while and then like his family didn't hear from him for 6 months. And then he showed up and allegedly
killed this guy.
Maybe there's something in those 6 months where they're going to claim, he went through brainwashing or I don't know what it was. But basically this is what defense attorneys do is they're trying to reduce the charges that have the lowest sentence. But the interesting thing about this is any sort of emotional disturbance or insanity plea, we call it an affirmative defense, which is like such a stupid name for it because it's like, how can you be affirmative and defensive? But you're basically saying, I did it. However, I had a good reason for it. Similar to the heat of the passion crimes.
Right.
So in this one, it would be... I was suffering from such extreme emotional disturbances. I should not be tried. I don't know why I'm doing this in first person. I should not be tried as someone who was in their right mind and had a mind that was well enough to hold the requisite mens rea to commit this crime and be tried as a person who was sane. So what I do know from law school is like insanity pleas are really hard.
Are they?
They're really hard to win because if it were even a slightly reduced standard you have to reach, everyone would be doing an insanity plea for everything.
Okay.
Parking ticket, whatever, everything. You would just be like, I was crazy, therefore I can't.
I mean, but
what?
No.
Was it? Okay. But so there was this red notebook that they found at McDonald's, which is like a big key part of the evidence in the prosecutor's case. And they're thinking that Luigi's defense won't hold up because of what was written in that red notebook was so cognizant, like it was so put together that there was a quote. CJ, do you want to read the quote?
I finally feel confident about what I will do. The details are finally coming together.
That doesn't sound good.
But... I mean, I'm sure his attorneys are going to try and make a case of like, these are not the words of somebody who is in his right mind. Right. So even though this sounds really cognizant, but they're going to try, they have to earn their money somehow. Right.
And so basically, as this case is sort of coming together, what's happening is that behind the scenes, the prosecution is trying to pull together all their little bits of evidence that's allowed in. And defense is trying to anticipate how a jury is going to react to that and what their response is going to be. So there's something called taking the stinger out of the bee. This is like a trial strategy that we use where if you know something bad is going to come up, like the words written in the red notebook, for example, as a defense attorney, you would bring that up proactively in your opening statement, with a witness testimony before the prosecution can talk about it. That way the jury doesn't think that you got surprised or that you're on your heels with this evidence. You bring it up beforehand. You anticipate it.
Right.
And it's called taking the stinger out of the bee. That way you've already socialized it with the jury. Oh, the red notebook, you're going to hear about this red notebook at trial.
Right.
And you're going to hear the prosecutor say this and read these words. And that way, when the prosecutor does it, it's like, yeah, we already heard that. We heard that joke.
We knew this was coming.
For us to be the most up to date, I just clicked on that NBC link that I had in the breakdown, and they're now reversing. They don't want to use this psychiatric defense anymore.
So they are scrambling to try and figure out what they're going to do for this kid, for this young man.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
That's not good.
But
because
I wonder,
every potential juror is reading that, right? Like everyone who's going to be on the jury is going to be reading that.
But I wonder if what they are, in the end, what they're hoping for, Luigi's attorneys, is that there will be enough people on a jury who have been absolutely screwed by a health insurance company.
Yeah.
Now, being clear, just because you've been screwed doesn't mean that you're allowed to go and allegedly kill somebody, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're really kind of hoping that people will say, you know what, either I or somebody that I know did not get the treatment that they deserved, or lost their home, or whatever it is, right? I mean, I think a lot of people can talk about a bad experience that they've had, and will say, you know what, maybe this guy was pushed to the breaking point, and that's why he allegedly did this thing. Because all signs point to him probably having done this, right?
I hear what you're saying about juries. He's going to lose. That's my hot take. He's going to lose this case.
Sure.
And I know that, a lot of people on the internet have his back, and a lot of people are going to comment on this clip and say, but this is not a winning case.
Right.
This is not. And even if there is that one person on the jury, juries are so unpredictable. I just don't think people understand sometimes how unpredictable jurors are, and how much of like an intersection of the world is represented in the juries.
Oh, for sure.
And how much of like just your and my social life is 1/100th of society's frame of mind. So when we're talking about, 12 people, half of them are going to have similar ideas and thoughts as you and me.
Not necessarily.
No. You'll be lucky if there's one person on there who comes from a similar walk of life as you, even if you're from the same community. So I feel like looking at how this is going to shake out, if they're betting on a juror, if their defense strategy is let's bet that someone on the jury has a negative experience with a healthcare provider or is frustrated by that and is going to hang up this entire jury, that's a last ditch attempt.
Sure.
But I agree with you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Like that would be something that Michael, the non-lawyer watching this on TV, be like, oh yeah, I would think that would happen. But knowing what I've seen, jurors come out of that room and they say, oh yeah, we convicted because, and then they say something that nobody thought about. Trial.
Yeah, right.
And we're like, huh? Or they're like, oh, Michael, you were writing really fast, so we assumed he was guilty. You were scribbling furiously during that testimony. And I'm like, yeah, I'm taking notes because I'm about to eat this witness up. Not because I was worried. I was taking down notes of everything I was going to gobble them up with.
Right.
They interpret it as, so it's one of these things where you just have no idea what's going to go down. But they did get a lot of the evidence thrown out in this case. That's another way to win a case like this is preemptory hearings. So getting evidence thrown out, I think they got his statements that he made to the police officers in the McDonald's. Those were thrown out because he wasn't Mirandized. They knew who he was. He was under arrest. They never Mirandized him. And then the statements he made, they threw those out. I think the backpack, I don't know if that's going to be allowed into evidence.
They're trying to argue now that the red notebook was an illegal seizure, which is, I think, part of the reason why they're doing this reversal.
So basically, there's this concept called the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, which is that if the search was not in compliance with the Fourth Amendment, which is unlawful search and seizures, anything, even if they get the bloody knife, murder weapon with the prints and the blood on it, anything from that illegal search is not admissible in court. And you have to try the entire case as if it doesn't exist. So the prosecutor can't bring it up. That's a mistrial. Defense can reference it in their, whatever. No one can talk about it at trial. And so that's how you would kind of win one of these cases in these preemptive meetings.
what do you think the hope is for this guy? Like what is the best case scenario for him? Because I can't imagine that this is somebody who's going to get off scot-free, right? I cannot imagine that. So barring getting off scot-free,
20 years.
20 years.
20 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what...
Like best case scenario for him.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think just like being honest with the evidence and the facts of this case, I think he's going to get 20 years in prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe life. Yeah. Because there's video footage of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was waiting. There was mens rea. There was intent.
Mm-hmm.
They have to prove the intent though.
Mm-hmm.
They have to prove the forethought. So that'll be something if the red notebook is getting thrown out, if there's no manifesto or anything like that, that'll be hard for a prosecution to kind of pin down hard evidence. But video surveillance footage of if they confirm that and they get everything into evidence, it's really hard to get around that kind of stuff with a jury.
Sure.
Yeah.
No.
Jurors are very much, it's a visual medium.
Right.
You know,
no,
you show
I
them
can see that. And once and regardless of what you feel about the person who was killed, right? Yeah. But if there is evidence in front of you, there's a video, there's, then you can't help but be like, okay.
If there is video evidence in a case, it almost always doesn't go forward. It's almost always plea deal. In my experience, whenever there's a video, that is the first thing we're going to
So what could they plea him down to?
They could plea him down to like 2nd-degree murder, probably.
Okay, which is usually a sentence of...
It's like, but the prosecution would have to be open to that. If they've got great evidence, they're like, let's get the conviction. Let's go forward. That's like their perspective.
Okay.
But I've really only seen these kinds of cases go forward where the defense is saying no to a plea deal when the video evidence doesn't get admitted or it's corrupted or lost or damaged or whatever.
Okay.
Or they just didn't exist in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be, it's soon. The trial's in a couple months. So
yeah, I mean, we've been waiting a while though, you know what I mean?
We could like watch that. If you guys want, we could do like a separate coverage of this or something. Like
I think we should.
Series.
Yeah.
It's like right here in New York.
Yeah.
I go to that courthouse all the time.
You're just gonna sit there and watch it?
Yeah, and then just like
but it's going to be
on YouTube.
Really hard to. How many people do you think are going to want to? It's like the people who they were like practically selling tickets for Diddy's trial. Do you know what I mean? I
feel like I know a guy.
I
know a bailiff who could get me in. Okay. I do.
No. I mean, do you know where it's taking place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was kikiing with the bailiffs the other day. It was really bad. Like out in the hallway, we were like giggling.
So what's wrong with that?
It was great. It was actually kind of great.
I have a question for you on the Luigi stuff, but it's not necessarily specific to this. So his defense team they requested that some of his statements that he made be cut from the record, claiming that he had not yet been read his Miranda rights before being interrogated. How is that possible when the NYPD had, this is like a manhunt, like how do they not read him his Miranda rights?
So he wasn't Mirandized because he was found in Pennsylvania in like a rural town. And these were like the local police officers from like Scranton, Pennsylvania or something. But no, this is not like a good defense of them.
Okay.
But from my perspective, I'm like, those officers were not very experienced because they should have Mirandized him right away. They should have arrested him. They were... this is not me. I'm not letting police officers off scot-free.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, but it seems to me as it's literally, I am not a police officer and I have seen enough SVU to know.
I think they were like,
I don't, even if it's your first day on the fucking job. No.
They're like, wait a minute. Is this the guy from the TV? Is this the guy?
No.
Yeah. It's really bad.
That's really, really bad. So they were so excited to see him that they forgot to do their job.
And also with Luigi's trial, there was some weird shit where like the body cams turned on and off a couple times. And then it was like, there was something, they put some evidence in a McDonald's bag.
My God.
I'm serious. And then one officer had it in a McDonald's bag. They were driving it to the precinct, separate from Luigi, but then, and the body cam was on, and then it went off again, and the bag was gone, and it was back with Luigi, and like the cop turned around and went back, and like the phone records showed that they were called, like the officers called each other a bunch. There was some weird stuff going on, like the Karen Reed trial. Do you remember this? Like there was some sort of weird cop phone record and body cam inconsistencies with Luigi's arrest.
Let me ask you something, just not about Luigi necessarily, but when a police officer has a body cam, it's supposed to be on all the time, right?
Yes.
So when it is not on and then it comes back on, is there a reason ever? Like, what is your recourse as a defense attorney?
Right. What I do is I use it as part of my defense. Is like, hello, this was suspiciously and randomly turned off. Like at the key crucial moment when the alleged issue occurred, whether it was an assault or whatever. So that is how I use it, because you can use the absence to sow doubt with a judge or a jury. So that's how I use it.
Okay.
Officers claim wardrobe malfunction, right? They say, they give the Janet Jackson. They say, oh, it stopped working randomly at the crucial moment that we needed. And it
came back on all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yes. And it's the same with dash cam footage. Like that is like very much socialized.
And but I'm just curious, does that work? Is that working?
It's working to keep them personally free of liability.
Okay.
It's not necessarily working to like in the criminal proceedings for that defendant.
I just wonder, as a police officer, if you do that multiple times, I mean, that's not really good job security. I mean, because you're making the same mistake over and over again, and people are, and I don't know, because of it, people are getting off or they're having to pay.
Yeah. I unfortunately think people are getting away with it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
I told you about that trial where all the evidence was deleted from the police phones. They like turned them in and then factory reset them.
Okay.
There was all this evidence on the phones.
So what happened?
We went to trial. We were like, there's no evidence. We only have witness testimony.
Okay.
So we got to go off that.
This was your case?
Yeah.
Are you able to say, did it go?
I can't say. I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
But.
I just don't even understand how, it's like
blue. Sorry. My ADHD. This bottle's blue.
It's like, what's going on in the home?
Is
what it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on?
What's happening in the precinct?
What's happening? Who's in charge? The whole thing just reeks of such corruption.
Yes.
And we know that that's true, but it's obvious to the point it's stupid.
Well, I think criminal defense attorneys have always sort of been on the front lines of witnessing and going up against police corruption. I think that's tales old as time. Like my law professors were telling us stories from the 70s, right?
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, all these cases that you hear about Miranda rights, there was a Mr. Miranda.
No, I know.
Like,
right.
There was a person that had to have rights so violated that it then went to court to trial all the way up.
And they named it after him.
And they named it after that person, right?
Yeah.
Is this like an attractive case to a defense attorney because there's so many like missteps?
In the Luigi trial?
Yeah. Or is it like something you want to stay away from because you don't want to get a loss on your record?
If this case weren't so high profile with Luigi and I saw all these errors and this was crossing my desk, I'd be like, this is a normal number of errors in evidence, chain of custody, in Miranda rights violations. This wouldn't keep me up at night with the rights violations. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Would you take it?
I always decide cases based off, can I actually help here? Is there work that I can do where my skills would actually help this person? It would depend on like the time in my life. That's a huge time commitment.
Sure.
Really expensive case. To say yes to a case like that, the Luigi a bit aside. Like if no one knew who this was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This person's coming to you and saying, will you defend me? We're going to be working together for the next 4 years.
Okay.
Right? Like that's so long. And that's with no appeal if we lose, right?
Okay.
So there's just so much that's going to go into that. For me to take a case like that, it would have to be 4 years salary. That's going to be majority of my time going into that case, you know? That's without the public profile thing. But I do think a lawyer taking that case right now with the public profile stuff, that'll make your career. You can hang your hat.
Or break it.
You get so much exposure from a trial like that.
What if you really...
I mean, if you beef it, sure. Yes,
you bungle it.
Absolutely. But if you do a decent job,
okay,
you've got a lot of press conferences. You're getting a lot of camera time. Yeah. I think a lot of lawyers would jump at that case.
I wonder who's paying them. Does Luigi have any money?
I think he does, right? I don't know who's paying them.
I always wonder that.
Yeah.
I always wonder who's paying, like, especially if it's,
a lot of people go into debt.
No, I know. But you also can't get blood from a rock, right? So if I only have $100 and your fee is $200, I'm out of luck, right?
Yeah.
So like everything else, if you do not have the resources at your disposal, does that mean that you are not going to get a defense that you deserve? Yes.
Well, I love the public defender offices, but I also think
their time.
Yes, of course.
And the resources and
investigator hours.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I also think a lot about a case like this. I live in an echo chamber. I've admitted this so many times. So many people in my little internet world are not condemning Luigi's behavior, I think is maybe like the nicest way I'll put it.
Yeah.
The most palatable way to put it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this person's a martyrdom of Luigi. I wonder what I'm not hearing outside that echo chamber. What is the conversation about Luigi in an everyday American home that isn't my home?
I mean, I've heard some, and it's all the things that you would expect to hear, right?
Is it pro United Healthcare? Is it?
It's not pro United. I have not heard that. I have not heard pro United Healthcare. I've heard more like this feels like a very sort of liberal person thing to do.
There's a right way to do things.
There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. Which I understand, you are not permitted to decide to
You're not
off
judge,
somebody.
Jury, and executioner.
You're not supposed to do things like that. I've heard a lot of that.
Yeah.
I have not heard anything about pro United Healthcare though.
Yeah.
I mean, who? No. But we're not. We're not saying it's okay to kill somebody who works for this organization.
But no one's like, oh, they approved my claim so fast. Loved. What do you mean?
Right.
He had an issue with his deductible?
I've never had a problem.
Right.
They approved my sleep study. They didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Still up at night. No.
I'm still walking the floors at night. Because they won't pay for my sleep study.
God damn it.
But do you know what I'm saying? And and health insurance companies are notorious for doing things like this. And I know I talk about my weight loss surgery a lot, but it was a big thing that happened to me. But they were willing to pay, my health insurance company was willing to pay for my surgery.
Yeah.
But none of the fallout from it, right? So like after you've lost all that weight, there's like all this skin.
Yeah.
That is considered cosmetic, right? If you lose a tooth, right, then it's in the back. To get that replaced, cosmetic. Do you see what I'm saying?
Why'd you lose a tooth in weight loss surgery?
Not me.
Oh.
I'm talking about all the things that can happen to a person, right?
Like, oh my God, your teeth are falling out?
No. There are all these things that can happen to somebody if you get into an accident and you have a scar. They stitch up the scar, but the scar itself, if you want to get that fixed, that is cosmetic, right? Never mind that you don't want to be somebody with a big scar on your face. How traumatizing that could be, right? Why is mental health so hard to come by?
Yeah.
Why do you only get 5 sessions a year or whatever it is, or your PT?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. I needed PT so bad. I paid for that shit out of pocket for so long. And it was worth it for me and I could afford it.
Right.
But let me tell you, it was like the only thing that helped me after I busted my feet and was in those boots and crutches. Back blown out from crutching around America, biking in an orthopedic boot.
Well, first of all,
courthouse.
I don't know that you should have been doing that. I couldn't
do the kick line anymore for the Rockettes.
No, I understand.
And they said, "Sir,
yes,
please stop coming to Radio City Music Hall.
You don't work here.
We don't work." I said,
"We don't know you.
Please stop auditioning. You're too old."
You don't go here.
We can hear your hip clicking during the kick line.
But I'm just saying though, like honestly, it's stuff. Get a hold of yourself.
Fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah. It is, there are things that you need. Like I told you, I reached out to this guy, but he, that social worker I told you guys about, whose job it is that he's sort of fighting with the insurance companies. Oh my God. And it's horrible.
Yes.
This is something, this person has cancer. Everyone says that they have cancer. They need this treatment.
In a hospital bed trying to call to get their things approved before they die.
And they're saying no because we needed to be worded this exact. Meanwhile, this person is dying.
Yeah.
So I have not heard anyone who is pro health insurance company.
I'm being nicer to Brad now because I'm on his insurance.
Yeah, you better.
I'm doing the dishes. I'm taking the trash out. You better do the dishes. I'm like,
you better cook all the meals.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice.
I'm like, can you send me that claim form, sweetie?
Honey.
Like, come hither, look.
I'll do that thing that you like.
My mother-in-law listens to the show. Let's take a break.
She knows what you guys do.
Welcome back to Brief Recess. This is Tales from the DMs. We're going to read all the wicked and wild, freaky deaky, sick and twisted, salty and sweet things you send us here to the show. You can email us at briefrecess@exactlyrightmedia.com. You can DM it to me if it's something horrific that you want no one else to read. You can send it to Melissa. You could send it to Melissa.
I love messy stuff.
I love it.
I love
Remember
messiness.
The guy in the penitentiary who was hooking up with the guy who murdered the gay guy who used the gay panic defense?
Big Gay Josh. Shout out to Big Gay Josh.
Allegedly. Exactly right. Karen texted me. She wants us to say allegedly.
Anyway, friends, what do I always say? While Michael is a lawyer, he's not your lawyer, so you should get your own.
You said someone recognized you and quoted that to you?
So I was talking to somebody and somebody said that to me. Yeah. They were just like, oh. Let me guess. While Michael is a lawyer, he's like, and then what's really funny is that they did what I guess they think is a New York accent. And I was like, do I sound like that? Maybe.
It's like Joey Bag of Donuts. Yes.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. TikTok comments on inner monologues. Wow. We're reading the TikTok comments on our videos. Icky says.
Icky?
CJ, don't make me read things like this.
Oh, I like this.
Icky says, I don't have one. I still have thoughts and a conscience. It's just quiet. There's no voice talking to me. If I want, I can choose to play a song or hear someone's voice in my head, but it's a conscious recall. Oh, how nice it must be, Icky, to be able to tune out the voices in your head.
Yeah. I'm still finding that fascinating, right? Because it never stops in my head.
I'm just swearing
constantly.
Get the fuck out of my
But also, I'm also like remembering random things that happened to me in like the 6th grade or like, so.
I think this is one of those things where like, we're actually the problem and Icky's living it up. Icky's having their best life.
Icky, shout out to Icky.
Icky is thinking clearly.
I don't have one and I still have. Okay. I don't understand.
A lot of people gravitated towards the inner monologue conversation.
Oh, wait, but the Icky, it's a whole thread with Icky.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, hold on. So
oh, well, let's do this. Let's do this dialogue.
Okay.
style.
So you want to be Icky?
Yeah.
And I'll be all the other people.
I'm going to be reading for the role of Icky. I don't have one. I still have thoughts and a conscience. It's just quiet. There's no voice. I can choose to play a song or hear someone's voice, but it's recall.
Interesting. So when you're reading, you don't hear a voice saying the words either. Also, thank you for sharing. Jess Perk. Me too. I can turn it on and off, but I always hear my voice in my head when I read to myself, though. Thumbs up emoji.
Back to Icky. No problem. Yes, it's just silence in there. Haha. I visualize what's happening in the book, though.
V.
Wait, that just sounds like normal.
What?
Visualizing what's happening in a book, I think, is what. I don't want to, there's no such thing as a normal person.
Right.
But I do feel like I do that.
You don't.
I do visualize a book when I'm reading it.
Sure. But do you hear the words in your head?
I'm hearing and seeing the meaning of the words.
I'm hearing the words.
I'm not like letter, space, word.
I feel like I'm like word. Space. She said, he said, word.
About
no,
it.
I know. It takes all kinds, friends.
I think you broke me.
I know.
I think you broke me. Okay, Icky.
V says, I'm curious. How do you predict? This is what I'm saying. I'm curious. How do you predict things? Like my running monologue lets me know how I'm doing. Hungry, sad, bored, or if it's unclear. I need to pause and figure it out. What I'm noticing, beauty, danger, weird smell. The weird smell is a big one for me.
Okay.
I always say to Andre, do you smell that? And he's like, I don't smell anything. I'm like, you don't smell that. And I will walk around until I find.
Pride in Brooklyn this past weekend.
It was Pride in Brooklyn this weekend?
Yeah. And it smelled like it. And that's all I'm going to say.
That's what I'm thinking. Like the monologue in my head is like.
Okay, so Icky says, I do all those too. It's just silence. No one's telling me anything. I suppose it's more of a mental checklist I keep. It's very difficult to articulate.
Rachel, how? Oh, and then Michael Foote says, that's so cool. I'm jealous, LOL.
Yeah, I guess, I do stay up quite late and enter the comment sections on my own videos sometimes.
I've been getting in trouble on Threads.
I don't know how to use Threads.
It's like Twitter.
It's like Twitter, but on Instagram.
I love Threads.
Okay.
I've been getting in trouble on Threads lately.
Okay, so I'm still confused about internal monologues, but thank you, Icky, for giving us...
Lisa Ferris-Stokes, it's so exhausting. Yeah.
Having a monologue.
Yes, because because it never stops. For me, it never stops. It's constant.
Well, I've been meditating a lot. I've been trying to meditate every day, twice a day.
But
it's still there.
I could not. I would try. It's really very hard.
Yeah, I've got an app. But then they stole all my data and then I entered a class action lawsuit and then they paid me like $400.
You got $400?
Yeah.
I was in a class action lawsuit and I feel like it was for like a bad hair product. And I think in the end, I got like $3.75.
It's usually something like that. Yeah. So when I got it, I was like, wow, they really must have done something nefarious with my data. There's definitely like stole my passport or something. Anyway, all right. We got an email about the transracialism episode.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I'll read it as a white man. Oh. The transracialism episode was amazing from beginning to end.
Okay.
I was so mad during that interview. People came up to me at a bar a couple weeks ago and they were like, we heard the transracialism episode and were you angry because you sounded pissed off? And I have to tell you, I was.
No, I know you were.
That was some fuck shit.
I knew you were mad because I know Michael.
Don't come on my show and say some fucking stupid shit.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I guess
I think that was so stupid.
I think what I wish was that I don't know if the person who No. I don't know if she was nervous or whatever. I just felt like her argument for me, don't look at me like that.
No, I know.
Her argument for me, it was not holding up for me. And I kind of wanted it to because I wanted to be
convinced. I
wanted to be proved wrong. You know what I mean? Because I still cannot understand why my reaction was such. Right. Like I was just like, what?
Yeah.
But when I think about trans people, that is not the reaction that I have. And I still can't, for me, I can't rationalize why I feel so opposed to those two things. Like, but no. And other people were like, Michael sounded mad. I'm like, he was mad. He was
I rarely get mad, but yeah.
Well,
okay.
I think it was, anybody who either knows you or has been paying attention.
I also just feel like don't use the trans community as your excuse to say some racist shit.
Well, you weren't buying it and you started to shut down.
I wasn't, but like, it's okay to come at me with like a very obscure argument that you're okay, but don't angle it against the existence of trans people. That is where I'm like.
Do you think that's what she was doing?
I think that the argument really fell apart when she couldn't compare it to trans people.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, well, when you have something that holds it up that isn't trans people, come to me and I'm happy to hear it out. But until then, I'm shutting down.
Michael kept on trying to wrap it up.
I kept being like, out of frame. And that's why if you rewatch that, it's all Melissa all the time.
and
I'm over here being like,
at some point, I'm looking at Michael like, all right.
Well, that was us in the Afroman interview.
Well, that was different.
That was so funny.
It was fun though. We had
to tag in and out because I kept giggling, and then you'd take it over, and then when you started giggling, I'd take it over. I loved it so much.
No, it was so much fun, but we knew that we had lost all control. The moment it started,
the moment CJ said he's in his car, and he can't figure out how to do whatever. He can't get on Zoom.
Yeah, he couldn't get on Zoom because he had to download it. He didn't have the app.
And that was when I was like, are we his first interview ever?
Like, no, he's all over the place.
This is the first interview with
I know, but he was such a good time.
This poor person's listening like, Michael, read my email already. Okay. Transracialism episode was amazing. The lemon revenge story had me doing my best. Good for her, Lucille Bluth. Thank you. I lived in Michigan, not far from where Jonathan Schmitz murdered Scott Amador in 1995. We were just talking about this. Mm-hmm. I was in college and very active in the LGBT rights movement. Everyone thought Schmitz was a closeted queer. Again, please don't sue me. This is all very alleged information. Alleged. Personally alleged. For the show alleged. For Exactly Right alleged. For Karen and Georgia alleged.
For Melissa alleged.
Oh yeah, Melissa.
Magali alleged.
Everyone. The camera guy. Everyone's alleged here. CJ, 10 toes down, 10 little tootsies down. Lake Orion, Michigan is a very conservative area, as is the bulk of Oakland County. We all understood gay panic to mean panicking because you have gay feelings. Wow.
Okay.
Oh, that's so interesting.
That is interesting.
This was not a time or place where straight men had gay friends. It just wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. Wow. I 100% believe Big Gay Josh's alleged story. Oh my God.
I love that funny. They say that.
They said that. Oh yeah, we don't know who wrote this in. And knew what it was allegedly. Okay, thank you so much for
someone's paying attention.
Thank you for protecting me. Knew what it was allegedly going to be before you even read it, because that was always the assumption since 1995. Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, talk about hanging out with gay people, and yeah,
what
you couldn't it was. Straight guys just didn't have gay friends in the 90s.
I guess
Michigan.
Not.
We have one gay friend.
Who?
He's our little mascot. We take him with us.
Okay.
It's educational for him. It's
to be with you all?
Yeah, it's more like a National Geographic tour for him. You know, when they do those cruises, sometimes you can see the pelicans. Uh-huh. It's like that when we take him to Brooklyn Pride.
And who are the pelicans in this situation?
Us, me. Okay. And we're teaching what an Aperol Spritz is, you know? Like it's very that.
By the way, so
they're disgusting is what they are.
My cousin, so I was actually really touched and surprised. Shout out to Nino, who apparently listens to us and sent me a picture of he and his wife drinking Aperol Spritzes. And he was like, they're really good, Misa. I know.
Okay, 3 seems like really educational about internal monologues. So do you want to we can trade off paragraphs? It's a little long, but it seems like they really come at us with the facts.
Okay. Hello, Melissa, Michael. Love the podcast. Disclaimer, I am not a psychologist. I'm sure you'll get a ton of emails about this. We did, but I had to write in. I'm one of the 10% of people who doesn't have an internal monologue. That doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts. Y'all are equating having an internal... Didn't we do this already?
No, just everyone has thoughts about this.
Y'all are equating having an internal monologue with thinking, but an internal monologue or thinking in a stream of words is just one type of thinking.
I have thoughts. I'm thinking all the time. I like to think I have a conscience and ethics, LOL.
I love that they said LOL because
maybe
not.
Maybe it's someone who follows me and that's how they got here, because that is definitely someone who follows me, what they would say. I think about the decisions I make. I just don't think in words. It's not a voice. I think in pictures, sensations, sounds, impulses. Interesting.
Fascinating.
So it's just like a non-literary brain. I don't know how to describe that.
But anyway.
A thought doesn't occur to me in language. It's a single moment. Bam. Oh, I thought they meant Brooklyn Academy of Music. Oh my God. Okay, maybe I'm the one with a disrupted internal monologue. Thought, bam, another thought. It's really hard to describe because, again, it's not thought in language, but I'm thinking constantly. I guess it's just
Right. But I think we had talked about this the other day, and I think that even if it's not an internal monologue, if you are having images and such coming through your head, I think it is a sort of internal monologue. I think
when we heard internal monologue, we thought of just blank space.
I was worried that
It's like when they kill the last Horcrux and he goes to the train station and it's all white. That's what I thought it was. And now we're learning it's very visual.
How could it be that? Because there was something going on in the train station. Yeah, there was something going on.
There was. No spoilers.
Oh, sorry. But do you know what I'm saying? So yes, I think that I just could not understand what is, if you don't have an internal monologue, an internal voice.
Yeah.
Or images or sounds or whatever, what's happening? But there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
Apparently.
This person saying critical thinking. They got a PhD in literature. I was also pretty good at math and science, very visual thinker. And I tend to process thoughts internally, not out loud. I'm a terrible driver, but I don't think it's because I lack an inner monologue. Last point, it's a myth that people without internal monologues can have anxiety, depression, or other forms of mental illness, which is what I was hoping for all of you.
Right.
I sometimes hear from people, man, I'm jealous. But it's not empty up there. It's full of BS like everyone else. It just doesn't come to me as a voice. It's like images. Oh, interesting.
Okay. But again, I think that just because it's not a voice, like chatter,
right.
The fact that there are images.
It's like a flip book.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not the same, but parallel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What about synesthesia? Have you heard of this?
No, what is that?
Okay. It's when it's not in our notes.
Okay.
But it's like when people hear music, they like see the color purple.
Oh.
It's like a mental I don't think it's like a disorder. I think it's like just a mental condition.
Like how people are.
Yeah. They like taste something when they hear music, or they just have like their senses are just like connected in a different way.
So
write in if you have synesthesia and explain it to me, because I do think I'm getting it wrong.
Okay. So I was going to say, so that if you're in a concert, what is going on?
Like splotches of different colors.
There's just a lot. There's just so much. It is so hard to be alive.
If you have synesthesia and you look at the reflecting pool and do you see, what color do you see?
Or do you hear music when you see algae? Like, and what is it? Is it like creepy music?
What did they say about the algae and the reflection pool? It's the first president to get outsmarted by a single cell organism.
God.
We got him. Okay. All right. We made the camera guys laugh. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
That was Tales from the DMs. Be sure to write into us with all your wild questions. We can't wait to read them. This has been Brief Recess. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next.
In court?
Yeah.
Not me, though. Never me. Just him.
We're going to reset the hearing.